Alright everyone, this is the first Theta cast from the Theta Edge node that I've ever done, and it's about something that I think is one of the coolest projects out there that is not getting enough exposure. I myself, just a little history myself, I'm just a human being that's been involved in crypto way too long. Lost everything, made millions, lost it all again, made millions again. um, So now I'm more in it for the projects themselves and the things that I see that I think really have a chance to change the space and change the way things are done. Um, and one of the main things I think that we have a major problem with here is that there's a very almost near impossible way to explain to a gamer or explain even to the general public the principles of Web3. Uh, self-governance, fair distribution of tokens, which are basically monetary rights, ownership and governance being distributed throughout the community itself. The community itself making proposals and decisions on its own, and the direction of the project or uh, the entire project, is determined by the people that have governance rights that are just given it through tokens. So this represents a way to kind of teach people in a way that also allows them to experience a game. So it's not a traditional NFT game. It's not made in a way where monetization and pyramid scheming stupid apes is the idea. The idea here is to teach individuals in a way that's interactive and entertaining and still get you involved in NFTs and Web3, but through a story. And as it progresses, there's a roadmap that's leading us to a full-scale MMO. But first, we have a little story, and we're all learning how to do governance, how to vote and have outcomes of those votes, and deal with the consequences together as a community. So, chapter 1 was the worker's plight. Oh my, you look lost. Are you new here? Oh, but of course. I'd know you that look anywhere. Confident, doe-eyed, those plump rosy cheeks. A sign of wealth, of course. You must be one of those deed holders everyone's been harping about. Hmm. Oh, how rude of me. You must think of me. Please allow me. My name is Orrin Larchmont, Esquire. I'm sure you're simply aching to rest your weary bones. Well, it saddens me to say, but I've personally taken a thorough assessment of the lodgings here, and shall we say, the situation is dire indeed. You see, it can get quite chilly at night, chilly enough to kill. In fact, I'm sorry to say that we're at least a fortnight away from a suitable housing for yourself and the other deed holders. An egregious injustice, of course, for which I've set out to find an amicable solution. Currently, the only two buildings which have functioning furnaces are the barracks and the warehouse. The barracks, while well equipped, are presently occupied. The workers have been shacking up there for some time since we arrived, but given a bit of coaxing, I'm certain they'd be willing to relocate. Nothing your trusted intermediary isn't well equipped to handle. But that brings us to the second vacancy, the warehouse. Not the most luxurious of accommodations, and definitely not the safest either. We still haven't cataloged whatever horrors Dauntless left behind, not to mention the clutter. Who knows what monstrosities could be lurking in the shadows? Certainly not the kind of place for someone as refined as yourself. The workers, however, they know this island like the heads of their pickaxes. I'm sure they'd be just as snug cramped on concrete slabs as they would in the company issued dauntless approved beds. And then, as deed holders, we have voting power to make decisions. And the two decisions were to be made. The workers are most certainly better equipped to deal with whatever perils and pestilence may be laying with them in the warehouse. Uh, I shall keep the proverbial eye on them, though they less take the opportunity to unionize. The very word sends shivers down my spine. So kick the workers out, and the danger being that they get pissed off and they unite against us as deed holders. Then the workers aren't working, or something could happen. Who knows? I'm not really sure. That's kind of the idea. We don't know what's going to happen. Because the other option is let the workers stay, and we'll move in the warehouse. And I can't say how I would handle that matter, but it's bound to garner some respect amongst the employees. Though my darling deed holder, I do fear that you'd catch a cold in that dank warehouse. So we have to choose between long-term stability of our workforce and possible short-term detriment to ourselves. And what actually ended up happening in the first vote was close, actually. I didn't remember it being this close. But we voted, and the vote came out 41% to kick them out and let them stay in the warehouse themselves so we could sleep in good beds. But 59% of the governance votes, and again, the governance votes are weighted on the NFTs that are they're available on OpenSea, but were also issued to the founding people that figured out the first stage of this game in November or December. The deed holders are learning quickly that no good deed goes unpunished. Here's the result. After graciously moving out into the warehouse mere days ago, it appears that something has begun to show signs of a curious ailment, that cause of which is still undiscovered. The symptoms range from general sense of malice to full-blown fear-induced hallucinations. It's not just deed holders at risk either. Now we're told that at least 5 workers had been who had been hired to act as protection detail for a few deeper-pocketed deed holders have found themselves trapped within the quarantines as well. Since the warehouse went on lockdown, these unfortunate laborers have had tasks with the important duty of collecting samples of Tasami's cure effort. While we're told that they haven't been infected yet, it seems only a matter of time before they too succumb to the sickness. Tasami, long-time advocate of Undra's working class, seemed to question her own decision in drafting her co-workers for such a dangerous task, but acknowledged the necessity and applauded their bravery. She seemed satisfied with the decision to let the workers remain in the barracks, but stated not evicting your own employees from their homes is a pretty low bar. That said, it's a good first step. And there's a little image of us all hanging out in the warehouse there. Known Dauntless sympathizer, Orrin Larkman, requested a special accommodation for collecting ballots, or in his words, single-handedly and impartially overseeing the whole ordeal. The Atlas Inquirer, the newspaper from Undra, has independently confirmed multiple reports that during the voting period, Mr. Larkmark was actively acting against the interests of the workers. I was against the interests of the workers, so I'm with him. even going so far as to try and sway the decisions of some deed holders. He declined to comment when pressed on the matter. Despite the damper of disease, the spirit among the workforce has been quite positive. A roll a rollicking celebration at the local watering hole, the Kontiki Canteen, featured a heartfelt toast of goodwill and deed holders as well as wishes and their expedient recovery. All the accommodations surrounding the vote seem to have taken everyone's mind off the threat that remains looming over their heads, the dam blockade. Despite Sasami's openness regarding the research towards finding a cure, she was rather tight-lipped when questioned about her knowledge of the flotilla and who exactly this mole of hers is. While we haven't found out a clear answer yet, an ongoing investigation into this will continue to dig deeper. A message to our readers: despite the recent downsizing of the Atlas Inquirer will continue to deliver up-to-date coverage of these breaking situations and the same journalistic integrity that it always does. Your patience during this period is, of course, transitionary period is greatly appreciated. Thank you for reading. And that was it. That was the outcome of our decision for the first chapter. And that was interesting. I mean, it was interesting to do. It was interesting to experience. It was interesting that the vote was close enough to. I mean, I said kick out the workers because I'm not a worker. I'm a deed holder. But and it seems like it worked out to shit for us. But I guess we'll see. So I'm gonna do another one of these tomorrow, and we'll go over the next chapter, which is chapter 2. And chapter 2 was fun too. It basically continues the story from where it was at, and I'll show you real quick. This is like, you gotta vote, right? So in order to vote, you have voting power. These are the deeds that I hold, and each of them has a corresponding voting power. Legendary Command, I think, has the highest one, but even an uncommon, anything gets you voting power to come in here and like learn how to play Web3, Web3 governance through this kind of a system, and you're rewarded with stuff that is called Scrib, and apparently it's accepting visitors soon, and they are getting close to making the shop open where we'll be able to buy stuff with our fact that we've been voting. And this just came up. The scanner from one of the chapters says it shouldn't be more than a few days before the scanner appears to be at full capacity. And when that happens, we can triangulate the positions of all the command rooms. And that seems to be the next stage on the governance, or on the roadmap. And that should unlock a new part of the game. So I encourage everybody to come check out Undra. Check out everything about it. It's super cool. It's set in like 1898 and like steampunk nonsense on some island that we all don't know about yet. It seems like it's developing into a pretty cool thing, and I do think that it teaches people that are unfamiliar with NFTs and unfamiliar with like Web3 governance. It's almost like a Game3 version of that. In fact, that's what the white paper talks about quite in depth. Yeah, I mean, I really think it's worth checking out, and I hope you do. Thanks for maybe watching, probably not, but if you ever did, cool. I'll be back and do it again next week.